Hey everybody, Jem Schofield here with the C47 and another episode of Gearbox. Finally starting to get up to semi-normal numbers on episodes. This week, 4 out of 5, which is not bad considering everything that's been going on. So here we are, and a little less fluff now that I have a little bit more time to talk about things. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about, what am I going to talk about? I think I'm going to talk a little bit about shutter speed and shutter angle, and the fact that, normally when we're shooting with any of these camera systems, what we're always trying to do is we're trying to match that 180 degree shutter speed or shutter angle so that we get more of that film look. Combine that with 24 frames per second and the way you move the camera, the way you compose, that you use low key lighting as opposed to high key lighting, and all of these things are ingredients that give us more of a look and feel that is cinematic. But the thing to understand is that, when you are shooting at high shutter speeds or you're changing that shutter angle to get more of that frozen motion kind of look when you're going more towards a Saving Private Ryan or Gladiator, you can also go in the opposite direction and you can shoot with slower shutter speeds and things will get a little bit more blurry, or you can sort of go in between, and you can cheat your shutter angle or your shutter speed if you need to, but generally you do it when there's not a tremendous amount of movement in the frame unless you're going for a very specific look. It's something I've spoken about in the past, but if you need to get an entire stop of light, and let's say you're shooting with a video camera, and right now I'm shooting with and doing a bunch of tests with the FS700, if we had the camera set to shutter speed, then we would set the shutter speed to 1/48 if we were shooting at 24 frames per second. But if I then change that to a 1/24th, I'm essentially shutting the shutter off. And in fact, if you've ever shot with an EX series camera and you take the shutter button and you turn it to off, it basically matches your shutter speed to your frame rate. And so that's fine. That gains you an extra stop, a whole stop of light when you do that. And if there's not a tremendous amount of movement in your frame, then that can be a big deal. That can be the difference between shooting at let's say 1250 ISO and shooting at 2500 ISO. You can keep the ISO lower, so you're keeping your noise levels down, but then you can actually go ahead and screw with the shutter in order to gain that extra light. Now, not every camera system is going to allow you to do that. That is one of the downsides of HD SLRs. We don't get as much control in a lot of the cameras in that form factor in terms of being able to do that. But as soon as we start to step up into FS700s, we start to shoot with cameras like the C300 and any pretty much standard video camcorder that's coming out. I always hate the term video camcorder, but any camcorder that comes out, or so we call it a compact digital or a digital cinema camera that's a large sensor camera system, will generally have the choice to not only choose between shutter angle or degrees and shutter speed, but will also give you the ability to go ahead and effectively turn that shutter off. So it'll gain you an extra stop, and you can keep those ISOs or that gain lower to keep the noise out of your image. That's what I've got for you guys. I'll see you guys next week. I'll be actually doing a project for Canon, so hopefully a few episodes from a small stage in the city. So I'll see you guys next week on Gearbox.